Nobody wants to read your infographic on social media either.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see your carousel post that's just text with your brand on it saying like 5 ways to do this. No one wants to consume that.
Like, if we're gonna talk about realtors for a sec, yo, okay, I have a really big criticism on like Calgary business owners.
On this episode of the Maker Podcast, I sit down with Kien, a full-time videographer who has been serving Calgary businesses for the past 7 years. He specializes in branding, lead generation, and video production for top-of-funnel marketing initiatives. On this episode, we have a great back and forth about digital marketing, videography, social media, building brand, and how video content can grow your business in 2024. So if you're an aspiring videographer or a small business owner looking to level up your digital marketing this year, this episode is for you. Kien, thank you so much for being here today, man. I appreciate you taking the time out.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a really great episode just because, like I said before, we have so much overlap. Like, we're both creators. We both had, like, music in our past. We're both building our own videography businesses. So, hopefully today we can give a lot of value to videographers, but also, like, small businesses looking to increase their performance in their digital marketing efforts or, business goals in general.
Yeah, very excited to do this.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah, but yeah, before we were talking about like what makes a good ad. So yeah, maybe you could just speak a little bit on that.
So the whole framework is PASS, so problem, agitate, and solution. In terms of like how you structure your video ads if you were to do it for social media. But the way I see it is audience retention. Like, no matter what it is that you're saying or whatever or presenting, it's always got to be audience retention first.
Right.
I have a homie. His name is Goliath. He calls me every single day, like around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. But he's obsessed with this whole YouTube thing where he wants to blow up. Like, he's gonna blow up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we talk about, it's kind of like how Mr. Beast started out, where he just obsesses over all the little intricate details of how to keep people watching. So we do that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about before, like full disclosure, we were already talking and then the the cameras weren't recording. So now we're starting it over. But like you were saying before, like measurement.
Yeah.
And like testing. And the only way you can do that is through, in my opinion, is through volume.
Yeah.
So like if you don't post, you're going to have nothing to study. Like, you have to post, even if your video that you post has no retention, you can then at least look at that video and be like, I think this is why it didn't have any retention.
Exactly.
So like the expectation of having every video get results is not only unrealistic, but then there's no learning there.
But that's why you got to be consistent too.
Exactly.
We were talking about that earlier.
Exactly. And that's my main kind of thing about consistency. Because consistency is like, it's pushed by everyone. Like, you hear Gary Vee, it's like, post 3 times a day and you have to do this. And like, if you don't, then the algorithm will do whatever. But like for me, it's less about that and more about data collection.
Yes.
Because if I don't post every day, then I'm not going to have, like, there's too many variables. Because it's like, oh, this post did really well. Was it because you posted on Tuesday?
Yeah.
You haven't posted in 5 weeks. So, like, how do you know why this did well? But if you're posting every day, you're eliminating the variables. Because you're like, well, I post every day.
Yeah.
I post every day at this time.
Yeah.
So it's not the day, it's not the time, it's the content. So then now you can test different things. Like, is it what I'm communicating or is it how I communicated it?
Yeah.
So even then, like, I find a lot of people are like, well, I've already posted everything. I've said everything I have to say. And that's the thing. Even Gary Vee, he's posting the same thing. He's talking about the same thing for 20 years.
Every time, yeah. Like, just reiterated slightly.
Exactly. It's just about finding new ways to communicate, like, what you're trying to communicate to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to make people remember what it is that you believe in. Right? You always have... People need constant reminder, man.
Yeah. No, that's so true. That's so true. Because sometimes it's like, it's not that people need to get new information. I think that we all have like a basic understanding of the important things, whether that's in our personal lives or in business. But like the great thing about social media is it's like just an opportunity to be reminded. Like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. I was too busy like living my life that I forgot that like I should be doing this with my marketing or I should be doing this with my content,
Yeah. And I think that's what we were talking about earlier too, where it's being on top of mind is in the attention economy has so much more value than it used to.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we were saying. Earlier we were talking about how social media is the new website.
Yeah. Yes.
right? And like the benefit of it, like, yeah, like I challenge you, if you're listening right now or if you're watching this, like when you're looking at a new restaurant or a new business to go check out, are you going to their social media first or are you going to their website?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the other benefit is people are already on social media.
Yeah.
Actually, the stats show that 80% of all mobile data traffic is spent watching vertical form videos. So the fact that I'm already scrolling, whatever your demographic is, they're already scrolling on some social media platform.
Yeah.
They might run into your video. They might learn about your
Yeah.
business. They might be reminded about your business.
Yeah.
Versus if you're investing all your money only into your website,
Yeah.
they have to actively search you.
Yeah.
They have to actively search Calgary or
Yeah.
whatever your business is.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on social, you give this serendipitous opportunity for someone to just stumble upon your business. You know?
Yeah. I like that. There are search-based businesses as well, right?
Right.
Like I've tried to like get into the dentistry industry
Yeah.
for like the longest time, and they're like, we don't care about, being on social media. Like people Google us in order to find us. Like
Right.
that's their priority, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so there's a difference there. Like what industries are more social dominant, right? Versus like the search based.
Right. No, that's
Yeah.
such a great point. That is such a great point. Like the other thing though that I find is like that's 100% right.
Yeah.
And there are other social media platforms that are more inclined to search
Yeah.
than others.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at Instagram right now, it's slowly turning more search based versus hashtag based.
Yeah.
But like what's the second largest search engine in the world?
Is it Instagram?
It's YouTube.
It's YouTube, who Google owns.
Exactly. So when I like think about this, whenever you're Googling something and you want to learn something, whether it's your videography or otherwise, how often do you want to see a video?
Dang.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so there's so many uses for video. Like whether I'm learning something new with my camera or like something in the new editing software, there's only so much a blog post can do for your SEO.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the beautiful thing, man. And especially in this world where the attention span is like, I'm not going to read your blog post, bro. I'm not going to go to your website and read your blog post for SEO. Like,
I'll read the title maybe.
exactly. You know what I mean? But like, that's like actually a framework that I've used on 2 of my clients now, which is compiling the most searched questions in your industry
Nice.
and you answer them on camera.
That's perfect. Yeah.
And then, yeah, you can also double down on your SEO. You can also double down on your website and stuff.
Yeah.
But now you'll show up on YouTube, whatever it is. Like, is this a cavity or not?
Yeah.
For a dentist, you know what I mean? And then it's like you have videos like, a lot of times this is like, cavities, and like, and the viewer likes you,
Yeah.
and it just so happens you live in their area. Like, I'm gonna go to that guy. He gave me the information about cavities. I really like how he communicated it. His
Yeah.
personality's cool. Whatever the thing might be, I just think there's so many uses for video that I think that like, it's hard because as videographers we have to educate
Yeah.
our customers
I
a
know.
lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I kind of learned like not to at the same time. Like sometimes I I put myself in the position of like a business coach as opposed to being a videographer, and I've like overstepped my bounds a few times,
Right.
being too like prideful or something. But definitely staying in the realm of like, okay, audience retention is the max that I'll go with it. You know what I mean?
No, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Because like ultimately, we said this before, but like as an entrepreneur, you only win if you help other people win.
Yeah.
And I think like, I'm so tempted sometimes to just be like, oh, this is the video you want. I'll just make it. You're going to pay me for it, right? Right? But then like, there's always a part of me that's like, if I make this video for you, you might like it. You might think it looks good, but it's not going to do what you want it to do. And then so like, sure, we can have a one-time exchange of this thing, and you're going to have this idea that videos don't work.
Yeah.
I made a video and it didn't work. But like, it's just like if I go to a service provider, like say I go to a tattoo artist
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, I want this tattoo and I want it to be white here and I want it to be green here and I want it to be, and then I actually want my service provider to be like, that's going to look like shit.
Nice.
And also I can't do that for XY technical reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also it's not going to achieve the thing that you want. Here, actually, this is a plan that might work better for you.
Yeah.
And you might lose that client though.
Right. Right. That's why I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll do whatever you want.
I know I'm so tempted to do that. Like, and I think I do. because like at a
Yeah.
certain point in your videography kind of like freelancing journey, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to.
Yeah.
But always still tried to kind of like lean into like education.
Yeah.
I always try to be like, hey, like obviously I want us to have a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas like doing the thing that you want me to do is kind of like a one-night stand. Like, boom, I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
You're going to get you what you want. I'm going to get what I want and we're done. Right?
Yeah.
Versus like long-term relationships are built on like you benefit and I benefit.
Yeah.
Like I want you to do good on this,
Yeah.
man. Like I want you to kill this. And I've actually gone like, I don't know what you think about this, because like there's so many stuff on the internet for videographers, like your time is so valuable.
Yeah.
Like don't give away things and like charge so much, right? And I'm just like, but sometimes I will throw in free things.
Yeah.
I'll be like, this is what you wanted, and then this is
Like what I would have done.
this is a version that I think will work for you,
Yeah.
and this is why. And I know that you want to do it like this, but I suggest that you roll it out like this.
Yeah. So
You
you
know?
made 2.
Yeah,
versions.
like I've freaking
Wow.
made 2 versions, bro.
Crazy.
And I've done that because like I truly genuinely believe like entrepreneurs only win if you help other people win.
Yeah. I did have to learn the hard way about like overstepping my bounds where there was a client, Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
Country Hills.
Nice. Shout out.
I was just like, okay, I have ideas. I was like, dude, like we could do this, that. But they already had like an idea in their head, like of what they wanted for content, right?
Yeah.
So didn't choose me, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I got like I was like, oh, why did I say stuff like that? I was
Yeah.
very authoritative when they are the marketing department. You know what I mean? I was
Right.
like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
It's hard, man,
Yeah.
because like again, like, you know, even as a business owner, I don't know for you, but like the reason I got into this, like I think there's a lot of things about entrepreneurship that are kind of glamorized,
Yeah,
when really it's like it's super hard to do.
yeah, it's a whole bunch of learning.
Yeah, and the only way it's worth it is if you're doing something that you kind of enjoy or believe in.
Yeah,
And like for me, it's like if I get caught up in doing stuff that I don't believe in for the bag,
yeah,
then why don't I just get a job?
yeah. Yo, at the beginning you have to though.
I
like,
know,
it's,
dude.
Oh, it's tough. But you have to learn your mistakes too, cause like, well, this is what I heard from these other videographers. They said that what you are paid for now, like as a person who's been doing this for a long time and being paid more, is all those mistakes.
Yeah.
And all the times you've been yelled at by other people. You know, all that accumulated into the knowledge and like the person and like the skills that you are and have now.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, that totally makes sense, man. And then like all the flashbacks of me being yelled at or being fired or whatever just comes back.
You got
I'm like,
yelled at, dude?
yeah, dude. Man, I messed up bad. Like there was this one time it was for a vape shop and they're like, yo, we just want like a podcast type style reviewing these vapes and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I could do it, man. I'm like, I'll take anything. I'll do it all.
Right.
And just try to use my shotgun mic to capture the sound and everything.
Right.
Super reverby room. Try to save the audio. Couldn't save it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, man, this is not going to work out.
Dude, that's so
Oh,
hard. But yeah,
yeah.
like, you're right. You're totally right about that. Like it's the mistakes you make along
Yeah.
the way that are really, you know, like a part of the value that you're bringing.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, now you know you got to bring these certain types of mics for this certain
After
type of
that,
thing.
I bought a whole bunch of mic stuff. Like
Yeah.
audio, obsess over it. And just
100.
like,
Well, audio is like 50% of that
Yeah.
video.
and I'm like, I'm never going to be yelled at like that again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the young me was so good. So
Yeah,
good.
well, like, you know, you've been doing it for a long time. And, like,
Yeah.
I think even, like you said, you've been doing it for 7 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, even 7 years ago, there isn't the amount of information that's
Yeah.
available for people starting out, like, recently.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of, like, information, like, it's almost overwhelming. Like, it's
Right.
like, I need to do good audio. And there's, like, 120,000 videos,
Yeah.
like, about audio. Whereas,
And
like,
there's so many different ways to actually capture it too. So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, and also there's the equipment has just gotten so much better
Yeah.
for such a more affordable price. Like even all the
Yeah.
like little mics and stuff that are
Right.
available now, like
little clip-on lav mics, like
so
the
good,
hell? Yeah.
so good and so easy to use
Right.
versus like what there used to be available,
Like the whole putting under your shirt and like having hook
and
it
like
up.
taping it to you. Like yeah,
No, definitely. And it's crazy because when people kind of like see like who you are now, they think that like, oh, your pricing is just a reflection of the time that you're supposed to put in.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's not about the time, dude.
100%.
right? It's about the skill, like,
Yeah, it's about the outcome.
yeah.
Because that's actually one thing. Like, I used to work in agency. I used to work for one of the most reputable digital marketing agencies in the city.
Yeah.
And I was working not in video or anything creative, although I was responsible for resourcing for our creative departments. So it was
Right.
like very math based and like
Right.
operations, like living in between finance and project management.
Mm,
And so the thing that I found about charging hourly, whereas like it's an easy thing to do because people understand that.
yeah.
People understand like my job I get paid hourly, why don't you get paid hourly?
Yeah.
Right? But what actually happens when you have a model that charges hourly is it creates a conflict between my interests as a service provider and your interests as a business. So typically as a business, you want the work to be done well and you want it to be done quickly
Yeah.
or on time.
Yeah.
As someone who charges hourly, I want it to take as long as possible because then it's gonna so then I'm gonna get like hourly.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in the budget and I'm like, oh, to cover the cost of this project, I need to make this much money. And so why don't I just tell this client that it's gonna take this much time?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I need it by tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that's actually like something I've built into the operations of my business where it's like completely based on deliverables. But even then, I realize now why people do hourly too. Because like it's like, because there's some projects that I'll do. I was like, man, I put so much time into this, and I'm only charging this much. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. So it's a challenge, and I think that's a good segue to like a very frequently asked question amongst starting videographers is, how do I know what to charge?
Well, like, what's your bottom line, right? Like, what are you willing to do any job for,
Right.
right? But if you're just starting out, the tactic is to ask them, like, try to get the budget out of them first,
Yeah.
right? But if you know for a fact that your pricing is more expensive than what they're about to say, then you do the whole price hedging and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah. I've seen all those strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like, yeah, in terms of pricing, it's so difficult. Typically, I've noticed that people don't want to give their budget out.
Yeah.
Like this is a common objection that I've heard is like when I ask for a budget,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do you have a budget set aside for this project?
Yeah.
And I've actually heard this is one guy said this to me. He was like, well, if your project can make me $100,000, I'd pay you 50,000. If your project could make me $1 million, I'd pay you $500,000. Whatever result you can give me, I will find the budget to be able to pay you. So like now we're in a conversation about results, which is
Right.
also a difficult thing to promise as
Yeah.
a freelance videographer
Yeah.
or social media manager or whatever, right? So like, yeah, for me, my pricing,
Yeah.
I have tried to be like, again, it's my ethos of to win as an entrepreneur, I have to give value. And to build my reputation, which is the most important thing to me
Right.
in business, because you only get one.
Yeah.
And reputation can take you a really far way.
Yeah.
Is like, I have to benefit you more than I'm actually getting. Even if that's 51.49.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want you after we make our transaction to be like, oh, that feels great.
Yeah.
I don't want someone to be like, because those tactics that are like the price hedging thing,
Yeah.
I find that people walk away from that interaction feeling not good.
Yeah. It's very business like.
Like it doesn't feel like a long-term relationship that you're
Yeah.
building. Like I know for me, like sometimes I'll speak to clients and like I'm really excited about this lead that I just got, but then after I talk to them, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to work with this person.
Yeah.
I understand like at the
lot of
beginning you
times.
kind of have to take anything.
Yeah.
But like for you, haven't been in the game for like the amount of time that you have.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever turn down clients, or is there like any red flags you can share with like some of us newer videographers? Like, this is a red flag. Maybe reconsider taking a client that shows these kind of signs.
There's always like people who try to like heckle like your pricing is a huge red flag.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because people say that and you're like, oh, no way. Like these people are just trying to, do the best for their business or whatever.
Right.
But it's the heckling aspect of their personality as a business owner that's going to make them super nitpicky about like every little thing, or like
I've
they'll
noticed
try
that.
to change the music like after it's done and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like this rep that like that type of personality has,
Yeah.
right? So I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like I didn't believe it to be true at first too,
Right.
but I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
it is.
It is. And like again, like you were saying before, like you kind of have to learn those lessons on the fly.
Yeah.
And even then, like when you're starting out, like I said, I think the hardest thing is getting clients, especially because even as a videographer, like there's so many options.
Yeah.
There probably is somebody in the wings out there willing to do it for like $500.
$5. I've been undercut so many times, man. Like,
Yeah.
so there was this wedding where I was gonna do for 45, and this guy comes in 1,200. I'll do it. I don't even need to stay overnight. It was in Banff and everything, right?
Yeah.
He just took it like the day before,
Yeah.
just undercut me, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, what
The
kind of
day before the
scarcity-
wedding?
Yeah. It was
That's
very
insane.
scarcity mindset. Like, oh, if I don't take this, then I'm never gonna have like another wedding to shoot or something like
Yeah.
that. But I'm like, okay, cool. Like, just take it.
Hey, man, like that's the thing. Like that's the game.
Yeah.
That's the game. And I think like even that guy who took that,
Yeah.
he's gonna like that's not a sustainable thing to do.
No.
Like, because when you think about like even for my pricing model, I find it's very fair.
Yeah.
Like it's like as a business owner, even if you're a freelance videographer, you have expenses, man.
Yeah.
That aren't your living expenses. They're expenses that are like, at any point a piece of your equipment could go bad.
Yeah.
You have to replace it.
Right.
Or like
storage.
storage even. Or like, if you are like a studio and you do have a studio space where you do like product photos or headshots or whatever, you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. It's not sustainable, I don't think. Like that guy might have undercut you that last time, but he's gonna have to raise his prices if he's gonna stay in the game.
Right. And I knew the photographer who was doing that wedding too, and he's like, "Yo, like this guy brought his girlfriend, asked for a chair for his girlfriend so that she can sit down and eat too."
Wow.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
And that's the thing too. Like you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
At the end of the day too.
Yeah.
I think it's hard though because I do think that these types of things are very relationship based.
Yeah.
When it's a service provider, whether it's your barber.
Yeah.
Or like like you get a relationship with them because you trust them with a service, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like you have to kind of suss it out.
Yeah.
Like whether that's going to work out for like you as my client. Like, do I
Yeah.
like the way that you're communicating with me? Do you have 5,000 revision requests?
Yeah.
Do you want me to change the music? Are
Yeah.
we aligned on this thing? How do you communicate with me?
Yeah.
And vice versa. So like, it's a process, man.
It is, because it's like, do you trust my creative direction on this? Like, do you resonate with it already to begin with,
Yeah.
right? Like, I gotta say though, like doing videography all this time, I'm still looking for my peoples.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want like a circle of like people who I just always want to work with all the time.
Me too.
Right? So one way I kind of like filter clients I don't want to work with anymore is by pricing.
Right.
I'll be like, oh yeah, it's this much,
Yeah.
And then you see the look on their face, and they're like, okay, well, we'll see what we could do, blah blah blah.
Right.
But yeah, like I'm always preaching, look for your people, because this solo videography freelance thing, it also has a lot to do with like growing as a human being too, right? So you want to surround yourself with all the right people.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like entrepreneurship in general, whether it's freelance or otherwise, can get pretty lonely, man. It's a pretty like unconventional path.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're trying to like relate to people, it's like, bro, I just like spent all weekend editing this thing, and then I fucking gave it to this person, and they're like, yeah, can you change like 12,000 things? And then like I want to be positive, so I'm like, yeah, for sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm grateful at the end of the day because I still consider myself, although I have a long background in digital marketing
Yeah.
and, analytics and social media,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot in videography. Although, like, I'll say this, I'm proud of, like, the visuals I'm able to create,
Yeah.
but I also am very aware, like, there's, like, levels to this game where, like, there's just you can go so deep into the technical aspects of videography.
Yeah.
Like, so in terms of like marketing, how important do you think like gear and like visual, quality is?
Something that I've learned about like quality and being like differentiate yourself by making yourself unattainable almost. I dug a little bit into why luxury brands do what they do.
Right.
They don't want to be relatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you have this highly produced thing or whatever, it's on purpose,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't want to seem like the next door's barbershop or whatever,
Right.
right? You want to be that one that's like, oh, like only a few people can come in.
Right. It's an exclusivity. Like
Yeah.
you need to be a part of a certain like
Yeah.
group or echelon.
Yeah, it's not like H&M. Like if you're Gucci, you're not gonna try to have a bunch of people, a bunch of friends hanging out with the
Right.
clothes, and because that's relatable. You know
It's
what I
true.
mean? So if you look at a luxury ad, it's always like them in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and like them being in like very exclusive places, right? They're
Right.
excluded from everything else. Like
Yeah.
you look at the car commercials and stuff, they're always like that.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true, man. And even now that I'm thinking about it, it's like you don't see a lot of like if you're looking at like Gucci or Louis Vuitton, they don't have like influencer
Yeah.
like partnerships.
Oh,
Maybe with
that's-
like celebrities like Kylie Jenner or something, but
Yeah. But the thing is about that is that like that's the extreme example of that, right? But within your industry, let's just say you sell like pens. Like, are you the $5 pen guy or are you like the $25 pen guy?
right.
Like you still have to differentiate yourself in your content that way.
It's true.
Right.
And you can win doing both. Mm-hmm. Like either or.
Exactly.
Like you can win as the luxury or you
Yeah.
can win as the for everyone. Like
Yeah.
look at Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart's
It's
killing
different
it.
business, like business of ways of doing things, right?
Yeah.
But the way they market aren't going to be the exact same, right?
Right.
It's be completely different.
Right. Yeah, so in terms of like quality, it's kind of like based on if you want to position yourself
Yeah.
as luxury, maybe go more cinematic.
Yeah.
Do you think that a cinematic look can alienate people? Like, do you think like if like an average viewer like sees a cinematic clip, they're like, oh, this brand or this business is just, I don't
Then-
want to go there because
Then
it seems
that's
like it's
not the audience. Then that's not the
Right.
client or customer, right?
yeah,
So it's the people that they want to resonate with. And I gotta add that like luxury is not always just luxury. Like luxury just literally means that like you're paying for more for this thing based off of the beliefs of like the brand or whatever, right?
Right.
It's not always about like the most expensive, right?
no, it's true.
It's the perception. Like, what are people's perception of your business?
Exactly. And that's the thing too, like quality can kind of be misconstrued as like how something looks.
Yeah.
But for me, quality is like how something performs.
Yeah.
Like ultimately, a quality ad is one that has high conversion.
Yeah.
It's not the one that looks the best.
Yeah.
Because you could literally have one that's shot on an iPhone that
Yeah.
converts like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So again, like finding a quality, I think, is based on quantity. Like you need to push out
Yeah.
a high quantity of content to land on like what is quality. Because what you think is
Reps.
quality,
Yeah.
this is something that happens a lot. Because even when we're talking about like, do clients resonate with my style or whatever?
Yeah.
Like my mindset when it comes to creating anything in terms of like business results is like, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna perform, and
Yeah.
you don't know if this is gonna perform.
Yeah.
But what we will know if it does if we post it.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way we're gonna
Yeah.
know.
We're gonna
And-
do whatever we can, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
and that's why I actually push quantity. Like that's why it's like I have to have a long-term relationship with you to be able to give you real value.
Yeah.
Because like again, I could do this video, but like we need to have like a long-term plan if you really want this to be successful.
Yeah.
And that's like what my whole entire framework of my business offering is all about. Because like
Yeah.
like we were talking earlier, like there's so many videographers out there, and how do you differentiate yourself? How are you different?
Yeah.
Like for me, I specialize, like my niche is batched content.
Nice.
So for me, it's like, maybe this guy can make you like a Mercedes ad that looks like, wow, like amazing,
Yeah.
right? I think that I can get close to that, but maybe I'm not quite there yet. But what I can do is I can create a systemized strategy for your social media where I create a month's worth of content for you
Yeah.
with 1 day of shooting a month. Because
Yeah.
like those were the objections that I started to find,
Oh.
which was like, hey, why aren't you investing in your social media? And I don't have time. Like, there's no point if I'm not consistent, right? Like,
Yeah.
I have to post 10 times a day. Like, how am I going to post? Like, how am I going to post once a day?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time, man. Even if I did have the money, I don't have time to have this guy, like, shoot my stuff every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what if I could do it for you in 1 day?
Yeah.
And, like, that also gives an opportunity for us to build a long-term relationship. So we can go and we can, like, out of these 20 videos, bro, these are the top 5.
Yeah.
Let's sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
So in this video, you communicated this. It
Yeah.
seemed to resonate. It has this many likes. It has this many
Yeah.
saves. It has this
Nice.
many shares. This one, the worst performing one. Why do you think that is? Maybe it's because we're not providing value in this post.
Yeah.
And then now, again, we can get closer to retention.
Yeah.
We can get closer to quality. We can get closer to winning.
Yeah.
And like that to me is the only way like that I have found in myself like that I can sell. Cause like that's my belief. That's
Nice.
my system. That's
Yeah.
like to win on social, you need to be consistent.
Yeah.
You need to measure your results
Yeah.
and you need to actually change what you're doing based on your learning. And the only way to do that is to post consistently
Yeah.
with an actual plan, review the results, and then try again. And then use that cycle over and over again
Yeah.
and try to win together.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I like that, dude.
Yeah.
There's also like the other side of all this, which is branding, right? Which is like you're not just posting so you can make quick money right away.
Yes.
Right? You're also creating it so that like you have longevity in this business, which you were saying earlier, like businesses seem like they just want to make stuff now and they don't care about
Yes.
like
No, I love that you brought that up because like, yeah, that example of the other person, right? Of like, I'll pay you 500,000 if you can make me $1 million.
Yeah.
That person is obsessed with ROI and that's sales.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between branding
Yeah.
and sales.
Yeah.
And social media, I do like it can lead to sales for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think, like you said, the real value and the real magic is in brand.
Yeah.
Like when you think about sales, there's a lot of ways you can go with sales, but this is one example. One of the examples of sales is you see my ad, you click on it,
Yeah.
you go to my landing page, which feeds you into my sales funnel,
Yeah.
and then hopefully you buy,
Yeah.
right? Whereas brand, think about who's won on brand.
Yeah.
You don't need to see an ad to click,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like Nike.
Yeah.
Did you buy your Nike shoes because you saw an ad on that was on Instagram and you clicked it and it put you in a sales funnel? Or is it because like, oh, I know Nike.
I know Nike.
I like that brand.
Yeah.
I resonate with the message of like, just
Yeah.
do it. Or they have collaborations with my favorite athletes. And so I buy it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to click on an ad. Not only is that more efficient, but in terms of money spent, you're actually lowering your customer acquisition cost
Yeah.
as a business.
Yeah.
Because like we were saying earlier, off camera, I have to pay for every view, impression, click
Yeah.
that my ad gets.
Yeah.
If I post on social media, it can get 1 million views and I posted it for free. I didn't pay for any of those views.
Yeah.
So like in terms of like a long-term investment, that's again why I push relationship, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can't beat that.
Yeah.
And it's no longer transactional. You're actually creating a bond with your customers
Yeah.
rather than being like, yeah, ROI,
Right.
sales right now, you know?
And I think okay, I have a really big criticism on like Calgary business owners that like since interacting with so many all these years is that it seems like their decision making and actions that they're taking right now are based off of let's just get a bag and run away.
Right.
Like they don't foresee like okay, well, I'm going to spend 5 Gs right now, but like what's 5 Gs in your 10-year plan?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like but they're not worried about branding. Like they don't care about the compound interest that comes with branding.
Right.
They're just like, well, how can I get that bag within the next month? Like if I make this video with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all you care about, huh? Like
Yeah.
nobody cares to build something bigger than themselves. You know, they're just like, I'm here for the dollars right now.
Right.
That's
And
it.
That's so hard, but I see that a lot.
Yeah.
Like I see that a lot as well, and it's the truth. But then again, it like just makes me think about like finding your people.
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna be
Yeah.
able to convince that guy,
Yeah.
no matter how much education
Yeah.
you try to give him, and like how much content you put out about brand or
Yeah.
about social and how it works and how it might not work for whatever cases or
Yeah.
whatever. Like they're set in their ways.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy to me because I feel like even to start a business,
Yeah.
you have to not get immediate
Yeah.
like
It's a very employee mindset almost, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, in exchange for my year, I should be making X amount for this year.
yeah.
But in reality, in business, it's like spend money to make money type thing, right?
100%. It's an investment.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
It's a different mindset completely.
Yeah.
But people usually, what I see is bring their employee mindset into their business.
Right. No, it's crazy. It's crazy because like that is the mindset. Because I've worked in corporate before
Yeah.
where like marketing is seen as a cost center.
Yeah.
It's like this is an expense
Dang.
because it's really hard to track.
Yeah.
Like if you spent whatever on a billboard, how do you know you got sales because of that billboard?
Yeah. It's hard to
If I
quantify.
posted this post,
Yeah.
how am I going to know? Unless it's an ad, unless it's
Yeah.
a digital ad, then you're going to be able to measure the performance of that ad.
Yeah.
But like a social media post, it's hard to track this post gave me this dollars. Like
Yeah.
it's really hard. So finance typically just says like this is an expense and this is how much we can afford to expense on marketing. It's a
Yeah.
marketing expense. It's very rare they say a marketing investment.
Yeah, and that's actually the reason why I change my language when I'm speaking to a business owner. Instead of calling it their business, a lot of times I'd be like, "All right, man, how much you got to invest in your life's work?"
Right.
Just to be like, "Oh shoot, like this is my life."
I like that.
Right? Because then now you're like, okay, investment into life's work versus business expense.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I love that. That's a great one for because yeah, usually business owners are extremely passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're really like
Right.
interested in what you're doing and you're excited to share that with people. And I do think the best medium for that is video.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whether that's like what we talked about tactically, like how YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
And like if you want to be searched up, get on YouTube, man.
Yeah. And even on a micro scale, video is like the easiest to digest.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like instead of reading a blog like you were saying earlier, like
No one wants to read a blog.
Nobody's gonna take all that time.
No.
Like, just give it to me like
Yeah.
that.
And nobody wants to read your infographic on social media either.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see your carousel post that's just text with your brand on it saying like 5 ways to do this. No one wants to consume that.
And the fonts are tiny. You're like,
You can't even read it. And it's like, and the thing that actually pains me is I know you paid someone to make that.
yeah.
Like you
That's-
paid someone to make that because you still think social media is that.
Yeah.
But
Or
it's-
like you feel like you're doing work. Like you're
Right.
oh, I'm putting in effort. You see, I got these carousels. But it's like it's below bare minimum. Is there a word for that?
I don't think there is.
Yeah, it's not even
But
bare
it's
minimum.
it's,
at that
it's
point.
counterproductive
Yeah,
because you're
so that's
wasting
in the
time to
negatives.
achieve nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dentist industry.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, dang it, why?
Yeah, I think in any industry it's like it's waiting for the disruptors.
Yeah.
It's waiting for the people who are willing to kind of take those steps because,
Yeah.
you know, I haven't given up on dentistry. I've never tried to get a dentistry client.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are some that will like be a little bit more savvy, especially as these industries, they're all going to be getting younger because the population gets younger, right? And you need to communicate with people. Like your clientele is also getting younger.
Yeah.
Your clientele's in different places and you have to communicate them in different places, right? And even for people who like don't see the value in social media, like they need a 1-to-1 ratio of I invested this, I get this. Like you got to think about like what we've actually seen in real time in our culture.
Yeah.
So historically, beverages have been like a market or industry that have been impossible to get into. You have to compete. You have to be Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah.
And if you're not Coke or Pepsi, you get bought out when you're like even trying to slightly get good. And then like it's just impossible.
Yeah.
But now you look at a company like Prime. How did they get in there? It's through social media.
Yeah.
Social media influencers have the leverage to create their own products and enter segments and markets that were previously impossible to get into based on building an audience on social media. Guys like Logan Paul or KSI have proven that. Even Mr. Beast. When's the last time you've seen a new fast food joint? Now he has Beast Burger. He's easily getting into Walmart. And you see this as a gradual incline. Like before it was like, oh, companies see the value in influencers, so I'm going to pay you $5,000 and send you a free thing to post.
And now they're creating their own.
But now creators are like, hey, why am I like promoting your thing when I can just make my own thing and compete with you?
Yeah.
So like the people who are first to act in these industries that historically haven't done that, like dentistry, for example, like you're saying, the first movers into that will win.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like it's just a matter of time. And that's the thing, like as a person, if you're a dentist in that industry, like look for the right person to partner with.
Right.
You might not understand how to play in that world, but just having the knowledge that I need to play in this world puts you ahead of 90% of the people because 90% of the people aren't even doing it.
Yeah. And Gen Z are the ones on social media. So if those are going to be your clients eventually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that like what we're talking about right now is called decentralized, right?
Right.
So it's just like music where it's it's not the labels that are like owning everything now,
100%.
you know? So it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's game for anyone to play. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a great segue into like how social has changed, right? Like we were talking about this earlier before the podcast, but it's like digital marketing started off with email marketing, where it's like you get an email list, X% of your email list will see your emails, and then you just want to build that list. That's the whole thing. Instagram, how many followers you have is so important because it's the same as an email list. You get followers, a percentage of your followers will see it. But ever since TikTok came out, like you were saying earlier, there's an interest-based algorithm.
Yes.
So based on the merit of your post, if your post is good, people will see it. You can have 5 followers, but if you have a good post, you'll grow.
Yeah.
You know, like my account had 900 followers. I was able to reach 500,000 people with a post. Like now it's based on the merit of the post.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I had a friend who signed up for TikTok. She posted one random video of herself and showing her cabinet that she was trying to sell. 1 million views, 0 followers.
Wow. No,
And she
it's honestly
never posted again.
that's crazy. She should definitely like roll off of that,
Right?
you know?
Because she sells like antique style like stuff that she finds and
Yeah.
refurbishes and stuff.
Yeah.
But she did that one video, first video ever.
That's insane. That can actually be kind of a detriment though to people.
It could be, yeah.
Like when you get success fast,
Yeah.
then it's like you're like, oh, now my next video, like it's almost intimidating because you're like, what if my next video gets no views? Then my first one had 1 million.
That's probably why she hasn't posted. She's just
Yeah,
like,
that happened to me with music. Like, cause
Okay.
I posted a couple covers and then it got a lot of views, and then I posted a few more, and then they
Yeah.
didn't get any, and it discouraged me a lot.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just quit and I fell off of it.
Yeah.
So like, I think the slow grind is actually better. You're actually learning
Yeah.
what works, and that's the thing. I guess that's hard too. That social media is so attached to like identity. Have you ever like run into that where people want to like portray something on social media, like as like a shiny version of themselves?
Like in the music side of things, yeah.
Yeah.
But like for videography, I find that like coming from the music side of things, like
Yeah.
being a rapper and stuff, like you get shit on like real hard all the time.
Yeah, as a rapper? Or?
Yeah, as a rapper, I think like the whole hip hop side of things, where everybody's always making comparisons or saying you're trash and all that stuff, you
Right.
know, their opinion is so much stronger. But now that like we're in the videography industry,
Yeah.
I find that everybody's so nice. They're trying to critique you, but it still doesn't sound mean or like bad at all. I'm like, oh, it's so nice of you.
No, you're right.
And they're trying, like they're
Yeah.
trying to like discourage you in some way. But
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're so nice.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, I think like, I guess from my perspective, if you are just trying to portray, because that's a lot of the time, like you'll see realtors where they're just like trying to position themselves like, I sell houses, sold. Look at me, look at the things I'm achieving, and I can achieve this for you. Hey, listen to me. I have so much experience. I have 10 years of experience and I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I forget how many pieces of content are made a day for Instagram,
Yeah.
but it's in the billions. Billions of pieces of content are being made every single day
From realtors.
from just in general,
Right.
right? So what's gonna stop me from scrolling to the next thing on my infinite feed? Like personally, I don't care.
Oh my god. Okay, like if we're gonna talk about realtors for a sec, yo, like if they see one guy go like walk and talk at the same time, and the next thing you know, everybody's trying to walk and talk, but then they're like their walk is so unnatural that it makes it look, because like they're probably told you got to go slower so that I can move backwards, you know.
Right.
But so their walk is like the gait for their walk is completely awkward and like it's just not for everybody. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in, right? We can be like, yo, this doesn't suit you, like your tonality, like the way that you carry yourself, like,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole part of you saying like hire an expert instead of just doing it yourself.
No, I agree with you completely. I think that's hilarious.
Do you
'Cause
notice that though?
I actually have seen that.
Yeah.
I actually have seen, and it's like, oh dang, we're getting into it. But yeah, you're right. People are walking and talking and doing whatever. But like, you know, I think you're right too about everything you're saying. Like even, you know, your tonality, etc. You don't feel natural or whatever. But like, this is what I tell people, because there are people who are really insecure about being on camera. Mm-hmm. There are people who are just like, can we do this without my face? And I'm just like, we could, but you know, statistically speaking, human faces perform better.
Yeah.
Like
Straight
we could.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing. The first thing I tell them is you are in the majority. 99% of people don't like their face. They don't like how they sound. They're too insecure to get on camera.
Yeah.
So you just doing it puts you in the top 1%.
That's true.
So if you're willing to go and do that, you're in the top 1% already.
Yeah.
Second, charisma and all that stuff only gets you so far. The number one thing is, are you sharing something of value?
Yeah.
You
And
could
are
be the
genuine?
coolest looking guy, walking
Yeah.
super cool, talking about real estate, and you're just like, you're so cool, dude. But if what you're saying doesn't impact me in a positive way, I'm scrolling right by you, dude.
Yeah,
Like if you're giving me actual information, like I'm a first time home buyer and you're gonna give me information that's gonna help me on my journey of buying my first house.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you like didn't shave or if your hair's messy or whatever. You're giving information that has real value.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to stop. I'm going to listen. I'm going to share it with my friend who maybe they can get value from it. I'm going to follow you because you share consistent value.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're getting the results. And that's the
Yeah.
thing what I'm saying. Like people are too obsessed with like trying to look cool.
Yeah.
Like it's okay if you don't look cool.
Yeah.
Like look at Mr. Beast. Does he look cool?
Yeah, no, he does not look
He's
cool.
awkward, bro.
That is so true.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten really good at like delivering and stuff like that.
His
too.
retention
Yeah, it's good.
tactics
Yeah.
are so good.
He knows how to, like, even with his tone of voice, sometimes he knows when to, like,
Yeah. And he has multiple storylines happening at once, which keeps you retained, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing too. Like it's always a taste thing. Like I'll run into clients who are like, "Oh, I don't like that this is happening at the same time." And it's like, "Yeah, that might be your subjective opinion, but we should post it.
yeah.
We should post it and what if it performs well? And if it doesn't, then you were right.
Yeah.
But if it does, then we're learning cuz like whatever your preference is, whatever my preference is, to me doesn't matter as much as the results.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, the
So, like-
numbers can't lie.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I know that there's pages or things out there where people are literally unboxing from like a top down type of shot or whatever, and those do well as well. So, the faceless stuff can do well.
100%.
It just depends on like how you do it and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So if you're like a lame person who doesn't like who's not interesting at all or anything like that, like
Yeah.
like there's other ways too. That's why
Yeah.
I'm always like, yo, do what's like best for you,
Yeah.
right? Like your client acquisition and all that stuff, do what is best in your way,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to play on your own strengths. I think
Yeah.
there's like a trifecta of content for content creators. It's like the three things are personality, value, and production value.
Yeah.
Pick two of those things, you'll succeed. So if you have a really great personality and you have high production value, you'll probably succeed.
Yeah.
Or if you have a great personality and you're giving really good value and you're shooting on your iPhone, you'll probably still succeed.
Yeah.
If you're have no personality, but you're giving a lot of value and your production value is really good, you'll probably still win.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna watch an unboxing video if it has bad video quality.
Yeah. Yeah, especially unboxing.
Yeah, you want a high video quality thing,
Yeah.
even if the guy's boring telling you
Yeah.
about the product. You're like, oh, but he's giving you all the specs, he's telling you all the things.
Yeah.
Zero personality, might as well be an AI robot script.
Like
But-
everything, like my world got completely rocked when I realized that ASMR was a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because now the appeal is like, oh my gosh, like that could be a thing.
Yeah.
And anything can be a thing.
100%.
Right?
And that's literally the power of content.
yeah.
That's the power of social media and video now. You can literally do anything you want.
Yeah.
There's a market for everything. If you want to do mukbang videos, you can. If you want to start a podcast about like Pokemon, like I've literally seen that, like where
Yeah.
guys are like doing Pokemon conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
They just blew up. They're going crazy. Like you can
Right?
literally do anything with video, and that's actually like why I got into this because I love like a lot of different things. It's
Yeah.
hard for me to pigeonhole this
Right.
like all my different passions into one thing.
Yeah.
But the one thing that can elevate all of them is video.
Yeah.
Is content creation.
Yes.
If you can build a content strategy around the thing you love, the thing you love can be your business.
Yeah. It took me a long time to realize that, but that's the same thing with music, dude, for me.
Yeah.
Every time I made a song, like I'm pushing people to my YouTube to watch my music video.
Yeah.
And not my Spotify or anything. So
Right.
I didn't care about that at all, dude.
No, like it's like the music game is interesting.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many ways you can play it now.
Yeah.
Like but I still think YouTube is the best platform
Yeah.
to be on.
Yeah.
because it has the best monetization for their partners.
Right.
It has the best algorithm to be
Yeah.
discovered. Like Spotify, you might get paid off your streams,
Yeah.
but how do you discover? It's like hard to crack the algorithm of Spotify.
Right.
Because I've tried to work with a musician before. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, I need a digital marketer. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is really hard, dude. I actually can't give you any value and we shouldn't work together.
Yeah. Nice. That's straight
Yeah.
up.
But
Wow.
it's like, but if you want to win on YouTube,
Yeah.
I think you should probably do short form videos and
Oh,
do
yeah.
this and do that. And then the people like your music, they'll find you on Spotify.
Yeah. Definitely. YouTube is the spot though.
Yeah.
Like they will not try to hold back so that you would buy ads for your stuff so
Yeah.
that it's visible, right? Like if it's good, they're gonna try to show it to as many people as possible.
Exactly. Exactly, man. And like, in my own personal brand that I'm creating, like the fact that I'm literally talking about just my own personal reflections on life,
Yeah.
and that's monetized.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
honestly insane to me.
That is crazy.
That's insane to me. Like, so whoever you are out there, whatever passion you have, and you're like looking into videography, or you're looking to build your business, or you're looking to start a freelance thing, you can do it with content. And
Yeah.
if you don't have a budget, go ahead, use your iPhone because that's powerful.
Yeah.
But if you do, partnering with the right content creator can literally change your life,
Definitely.
change your business, like change everything, man.
So true, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how people are like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
There's actually surprisingly a lot of like grown adults who still think social media is for kids.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy to me, man.
Like you find clients think that?
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, like I like it's for them is cool, but like for me, like that's not me, man. Like I'm 45 or whatever.
Right.
Like, and then they started giving that spiel, right?
Right,
And I'm
right.
like, oh, like you think it's for the kids still?
Right, right.
I'm like, oh man.
It's hard because yeah, again, I'm gonna go back to what you said, which is you got to find your people.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much education you can
Yeah.
do. If someone thinks that, then it's
Yeah. I like stopped doing that. I stopped like justifying why for a
Yeah.
lot of things, right? Like why you need this or why I charge what I charge.
yeah,
Like I'll just be like, I just charge what I charge. Like
Yeah.
I don't explain it anymore. I'd be like, I do this, and that. I'm like,
yeah. I think that's the red flag that I've seen is when someone like is like prove it to me that your thing works, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm good. Like let me just work with people that want to work with me, you
Yeah.
know?
Another thing, like, okay, look, I'm gonna backtrack a little
Please.
bit. We were talking about like how Instagram is the new website.
Yeah,
I tell clients that it's your digital storefront. Right. So it's kind of like the same thing, but if you're going to be willing to spend like, let's say tiles for your floor in your store or whatever, and you're not willing to do it on here, like this hits a bigger impression than your actual store that requires foot traffic.
100%.
Right.
And there's more people. Like if you just look at the numbers, how many users does Instagram have?
Yeah.
That's way more people than's walking by your store.
Yeah, exactly.
Like honestly, it's a math game. Like if people
Yeah.
really studied it, they would know that social media is the number one way
Yeah.
to build your business, whether that's lowering your customer acquisition costs
Yeah.
or building your brand or
Yeah.
whatever thing you want to do.
Yeah.
Social media is the tool. Like think about even governments, okay? Governments are trying to censor social media because it's so powerful that it's destroying our democracy.
Yeah.
And you don't think that it can help you sell more pancakes at your
Right.
pancake shop or more
Yeah.
shoes at your shoe store? Like,
It's crazy.
yeah, man. Like honestly, I've taken a lot from you already, like today, and like great to have like a person in you like in my network now who's like been through it, and like we share so many like common things and like kind of perspectives on this whole game, and like I appreciate you taking the time here, man.
Yeah.
Like again, like I said, I want to give value to these two specific people, which is business owners who are looking to grow on social media or just in general, and videographers.
Yeah.
Like maybe you could share just one kind of piece of advice for either one of those groups. Like either that's like the videographer coming up, like maybe give him some gems, or maybe like just the 45-year-old business owner who's just like listening to our conversation, like, you know what, maybe I should do social media. Like what's a step that they can take that's practical to like move towards their goal?
Like a first step type of thing,
Or like whatever, like maybe just a piece of advice.
I'm just gonna say, do it embarrassed, man.
Yeah.
Just do it.
100%. No, I think that's
Right.
great because like, yeah, you're saying like it's the accumulation of all the mistakes you made, right?
Yeah. It's literally like having the audacity to just say, yeah, like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take that job or whatever, and then being like, because I have the confidence to figure it out.
Yeah.
I looked in the camera when I did that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Just so used to it.
No, it's good. It's recording still, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So just do it, man. Like the audacity is gonna differentiate you from everybody else. I feel. Yeah.
No, I love that, man. And like honestly, I believe genuinely just from like speaking to you for the short amount of time, but also like kind of viewing you from afar and what you're doing with your business. Like honestly, anyone who chooses to partner up with you to kind of build up their strategy for content or for video, man, they're in good hands because you're literally living it. You're literally learning it. So
You too, man.
thanks, man. Thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I would love to work with you on something in the future too.
Let's do it because we
Sweet.
love food, but I can't eat much right now.
I know because you're getting jacked.
Yeah, I'm competing. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I'm like starving right now.
Dude, your results are insane.
Yeah, like I honestly I thought it was more surprising. Like it's not a normal transition because it was like 3 months. So
Yeah.
10 pounds a month is very unusual.
Aggressive.
Yeah. So shout outs to my brother lifting with Larry.
Yes. When's your competition?
May 24th.
Oh, well, okay. So you got some time left.
Yeah.
Dang, you're
But it's
shredded.
also 4% body fat, so see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insanely low.
Yeah. Right?
Well, man, thank you so much for being here, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Bye.
Peace.